Diamonds. Timeless. Beautiful. Symbols of love. They are the world's most precious and sought-after gems.
In today's market, a stone like this is probably a $15 million diamond.
But in Africa during the 1990s, these beautiful stones became blood diamonds, named not for their color, but for their cost in human conflict and suffering.
Literally millions of people have lost their lives as a result of blood diamonds.
They put us together and ordered our arms chopped off.
You hear people crying, rebels attacking them, women being brutalized, people being shot at.
Children were kidnapped and turned into killers.
She
staggered back and we entered the house. I took the woman's baby from the house. She later died and I felt so sorry for that baby.
When the story broke, a global industry would come under fire.
They feared that diamonds would become the new fur, that people would boycott diamonds. They were the most politically incorrect jewelry you could think of.
This is the true story of blood diamonds. In 2007, the Leonardo DiCaprio movie Blood Diamond revealed the dark side of the world's most sought-after gem. The film is set in Sierra Leone, one of the poorest nations on earth. The average income of its people is little more than £100 a year. Yet, beneath its soil lies a treasure trove of diamonds.
Sierra Leonean diamonds are legendary for their value and their beauty. It's the size, the color, the refractive nature of the stone, all those qualities that the diamond specialists know and love.
Diamonds should have made Sierra Leone a paradise. Instead, they've made it a hell. From 1991 to 2001, a brutal war raged between the government and a rebel group called the RUF, the Revolutionary United Front. A war funded in part by diamonds.
They said they were fighting for democracy, but they fought against civilians. And they used diamonds to fuel the whole thing. They used diamonds to get the guns to fight the war.
The country and its people still bear the scars of 10 years of diamond-fueled warfare.
That very day, when they chopped me to hand.
That very day when they chopped my hands off, I didn't expect to leave. I didn't believe I would be able to sit down and talk to you as I do now. I knew I was finished.
During the war, Ibrahim Fofana worked in one of the many mines in eastern Sierra Leone, pulling rough diamonds from the ground. In April 1998, the RUF attacked his village.
The rebels, they wouldn't come inside the town.
When they came to town, they were in full combat uniform. They had weapons, RPGs.
Rebels confronted his neighbor.
Now they didn't know that soldiers say.
One of the soldiers asked him for diamonds and he told him he had no diamonds.
After me out to the next house,
the soldier followed him out, shot and killed him.
A different fate awaited Ibrahim.
I do all kind cry, holla.
I yelled and screamed. The rebels were laughing at me. They told me to stretch my arms out, but I said that was not going to happen. They used their guns and hit me all over my body, and that weakened me. this hand, they laid it out on the mortar and chopped it off. They laid the other one out and chopped it off too.
In Sierra Leone, more than 10,000 people suffered a similar fate. Amputation became the trademark atrocity of the RUF.
They committed every war crime in the Geneva Conventions and then invented one of their own, intentional mutilation of non-combatant civilians. And the whole purpose of it was to serve a military strategy, to induce population flow away from the areas that the RUF wanted under its control. And of course, that was just the diamond mines.
As the people of Sierra Leone suffered the horrors of civil war, diamonds mined illegally by the rebels flowed freely into the world diamond market.
Our estimates are that 10 to 15%, possibly even higher, of the world diamond trade was blood diamonds.
Blood diamonds, mined in the 1990s, still grace the hands and necks of unsuspecting customers all over the world.
A conflict diamond doesn't come with a little tag on it that says conflict diamond. I am from a war zone. It doesn't have a little sort of like skull and crossbones nicked in the side.
The modern story of how diamonds are brought to the market is bound up with one company that took a stone and transformed it into a multi-billion-pound industry. In Sierra Leone in the 1990s, RUF rebels used revenue from diamonds to fund a brutal civil war.
So I've been there as I pick this guava. Now
I was picking guava from a tree when I saw them. Some wearing red, some had red ribbons. 10 of them. They asked me why I was frightened. They literally fell on me and sexually assaulted me.
RUF soldiers gave themselves gruesome nicknames such as Bloodmaster, Wicked to Women, and the Killer.
They don't go surround the village and don't capture some of we about.
They surrounded the village and captured about 55 of us. They put us together and then called upon a boy known as the Killer. They decided to sacrifice someone. They brought a lady from the Limba ethnic group and she was killed.
Diamonds also funded 2 other brutal civil wars in Africa during the 1990s, in the Democratic Republic of the Congo and Angola. And it was in Angola that the horrors of blood diamonds first came to the world's attention.
It's got everything, offshore oil, it's got diamonds, it has all kinds of resources, and it's just a sad, dismal tale of human greed and of the most revolting conditions of exploitation.
From the mid-70s to the mid-90s, a bitter civil war had raged between government troops and rebel forces, known as UNITA. While the government relied on Angola's oil revenues, the rebels turned to diamonds.
At the beginning of the 90s, they needed money for arms, and so they strategically decided to take over the diamond mines in northern Angola.
By 1992, the rebels controlled nearly 70% of Angola's diamond mines.
The war was funded in one part by the sale of diamonds extracted by people often in conditions of enslavement.
And they had little trouble finding buyers for their illicit stones.
UNITA had a very sophisticated sales system in place. Diamond dealers from all over the diamond dealing world would come to UNITA. They would even form joint mining partnerships. Those diamonds went straight into the market in Antwerp, and they got an enormous amount of money for them. $3.7 billion worth of diamonds from Angola went through UNITA's hands during the 1990s.
Often, deals were done without cash even changing hands.
Arms dealers would fly in and would directly negotiate arms for diamonds. They would bring their diamond evaluator with them, and there would be no cash. This was simply a diamond for arms transaction.
Somebody would fly a tank down to Angola in a Russian IL-76 and land it on a little bush strip that couldn't be picked up by satellite at night. Down goes the back, up into the light goes a guy with a sack of diamonds. Some little guy sits down with a table, paws through the sample, decides what they're worth, off goes the tank.
Illegal diamond revenue sustained UNITA's vicious war machine. For the people of Angola, the horror seemed to have no end.
Close to 1 million people lost their lives in the conflict in Angola unnecessarily.
The war sparked an investigation by Global Witness, a small London-based pressure group focusing on human rights abuses and environmental issues.
Angolan diamonds are some of the best diamonds in the world. 80% of Angola's diamonds are gem quality. These are the diamonds that everybody wants, and that was one of the main problems for Angola, and one of the blessings for UNITA.
In 1998, Global Witness published an expose on conflict diamonds, entitled A Rough Trade.
The reaction that Global Witness received from the publication of our report in '98 was explosive. Nobody understood what was really happening, the impact of these diamonds being sold so openly, so easily, in exchange for millions of dollars. Really, for us, it was horrific that consumers were basically funding the war in Angola, and we felt that was unacceptable.
What Global Witness did was to expose this diamond ring, this act of love in the West, as being intrinsically linked to a bloody conflict somewhere in Africa. In fact, far from expressing love, it's actually joined up to a chain of commercial transactions that started with someone getting killed or maimed through an act of war.